Hey y'all, Moses here. PUBG's newest map, Vikendi, recently released, and I've been playing it a little bit and kind of learning the ins and outs and the flow of this new map. It's distinct, it's unique, and it's got its own quirks that you need to learn to succeed. So we're going to go over some of my best tips to win on Vikendi in today's training room video. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so Vikendi, it's an interesting map. There's a lot to learn, and the first thing I want to talk about is just the loot distribution and something you might notice as soon as you hit the ground. And if you've played any Vikendi at all, and or maybe followed Vikendi's release, you'll know that SMGs are very prevalent on the map. You're going to be finding a lot of micro Uzis, a lot of Tommy guns, a lot of UMPs. They're basically all over the place, and I think that's just due to the devs' decision to include a lot of SMG related unlocks when it comes to the event pass in Vikendi. So what I've tried to see, or what I've noticed rather, is that a lot of the time you'll see stuff that's kind of related to challenges in the event pass. So I can kind of understand their decision making, but that makes making your kit a little bit harder if you're used to the standard issue AR sniper that so many of us use. I've been finding some good success with the G36C. It's the newest weapon on Vikendi. For those of you who don't know, it also replaces the Scar. One thing that's kind of interesting is I'm not sure why they never replaced the M4, probably because it's the most popular gun in the game. But again, the Scar has been replaced with the G36C. It has similar handling, similar kit as far as it only takes a muzzle, a grip, and an extended magazine along with the standard issue sight. You can put whatever you want on it. It is an AR. It takes all those AR attachments. It's relatively easy to shoot. I think it has a deceptively fast rate of fire. I think it just really mirrors the Scar L in a lot of ways, but it's a fun new weapon to use, and it fits into most playstyles fairly easily. Now, speaking a little bit more about gear, the one thing that I do notice a lack of is snipers. You're going to find a lot of sniper attachments, but both DMRs and sniper rifles seem to be very rare on the map. M24s, Car 98s, I don't see a lot of, and even SLRs and SKSs, I don't see very much either. So really, the best you can do is try and make a DMR style kit with maybe another AR, perhaps an M16. But generally, I don't really know, again, what the idea is behind the weapon balance. But because of the level 3 helmets, that is correct, the level 3 helmet is back on the loot table in Vikendi. SLRs are probably the best weapon you can use as a secondary. Bolt action rifles essentially suffer a pretty major nerf with so many level 3 helmets running around the map. That's also in tandem with the level 3 vests. So you really have to be cautious when it comes to choosing your engagement distance and how you want to approach an enemy, just because that level 3 helmet, because it's essentially the best item in the game, really makes that long distance approach not as enticing, because you're going to follow up a headshot with having to run a significant distance. Your enemy is probably going to med at that time, and you might be resetting the fight being a little bit closer, and you just don't want to take that risk. So my recommendation is, if you can find one, use a DMR or go for, again, a ranged alternative that is not a single shot rifle. Beyond that, as far as the terrain and the strategy is concerned on Vikendi, I think there's a lot to be said with crashing middle. Now, this is a strategy used in many different maps, specifically Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok to an extent as well, depending on your playstyle. But Vikendi is a little different. I think crashing middle is not as rewarding because you're not going to get as much play in the mid game, and that means that grabbing that middle compound will definitely help you secure victory. But there's going to be a time, considering how Vikendi's circles are laid out, that you're probably going to be facing some downtime, and that might get you a little rusty, or maybe you won't be ready for the next engagement. But as the end game comes along, you do have a lot more time and space to maneuver. So I would suggest trying to play the edge in the end game, similar to what you would do on the other maps. But just be ready to take fights. And just a couple of little additional maybe tips for you guys is try and configure your outfit to be light in color. It is not understated how much of an advantage visually having like camouflage level clothing on Vikendi helps you. I've had a really hard time spotting enemies because the diversity of the map basically tends toward being able to blend into white backgrounds. There's a lot of brown as well. So brown and white camo configurations will really help you. But overall, visibility is not really it's not a disadvantage but it is hard to spot people. So use those auditory senses, move around a lot, look for movement, and make sure that you are ready to take up-close engagements very quickly because there's just so much to hide in, so many diverse areas. And really, I hope you guys have been having a good time with Vikendi as I have. Thanks for taking the time to watch this training room video. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. As always, I'm interested to hear your feedback, so leave a comment down below if you have any. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses if you're into watching live gameplay, and you can also follow me on Twitter for all my updates at twitter.com/wtfmoses. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and until next time, I'll see you out there.